Okay, so here we are in virtual desktop where I've been able to use the virtual desktop features to add an additional monitor here in my Quest headset. I'm using a Quest Pro, and I want to talk through the steps that I use now in using this dual monitor setup now in VRChat. And so here are my two screens here in virtual desktop, my main screen in front of me. I have the VRCFaceTracking app running so that while I'm in my Quest Pro, face tracking will translate over into VRChat. Additionally, there are some streaming settings that I have turned on here. One of them being the VR pass-through. This will come into play here in a bit. And if you look, what I have is a green screen pass-through. You're able to kind of configure what this looks like, and you'll see that working with one of the apps that I use to get pass-through back to my keyboard and mouse. So with that, let's go ahead and we'll pull up games. We're going to launch VRChat. VRChat takes a minute or so to get running, and we'll be over there in just a moment. And from there, we're going to land in my particular, your landing location, and then I'll jump to the glass office world where I tend to do my work. Great location, great environment, well curated and kept and managed by some really great people. And so here we go, logging into VRChat. I have the auto login turned on, kind of gets me in a step quicker. I'm going to go into the world. And we'll pause here just a minute before selecting the world so that you can see my avatar. And okay, here we are in my home environment. We'll walk over to the avatar mirror. And so there you kind of can see face tracking is on and everything is working. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll pull up the menu, go to worlds, my worlds, recently visited, and we're going to drop into Glass Office. So let's join that. And I've already been in here earlier today, so it's kind of pre-cached and loaded thing. So hopefully not much of a delay in getting in. And we'll land at the Glass Office lobby or greeting area where you can learn a lot about Glass Office and how to use it. So we'll pause here just a second. If you go up to this board, you can see there's a community bulletin board. You can look at the tutorial to how to use the room controls, productivity tools. I mean, there's a lot of features and functionality here. They do have a Patreon page. I encourage you to look at that if you want more. You kind of bypass necessarily these startup screens, and we're going to go in. So this is a little bit of Glass Office. I'm not going to spend a lot of time showing it to you. Suffice it to say, it is absolutely one of the best environments and worlds that I've been in and certainly worked in. So you can see there's a large variety of locations and this great vista to look out on. I usually sit up here in the cafe space, but there's areas below us, on top of us, lots of places to look at. So let's go over here and we're going to sit. All right. Now, from this point, I'm going to use my left controller menu key and pull up my Steam menu. And from here, I'm going to launch a couple applications. So if I go into my library, the first one I usually get going here is Reality Mixer. Reality Mixer is my pass-through environment so that I can see my keyboard and mouse. So once it launches and I pull it up, here you go. You can see I've got my pass-through right here in front of me. You can see my mouse, my keyboard, my phone speaker. That's great. All right, so we're going to go back here. That's all set. And now I am going to launch. Let me pull this over here in front of me. We're going to launch Desktop Plus. Desktop Plus, absolutely free application. And one of the killer features for here in a Steam environment or in Glass Office is that you can combine the two screens that we launched earlier in virtual desktop. So it sees that I have two screens even though I'm running on a single laptop, And I am good to go. Now, what I want to do, you can see I kind of have my reality mixer turned on so that if I turn my head a certain way, it disappears. I can enable drag mode here so that I can move my screens and, I can control how big these are, where they're positioned. Got this plant kind of right in front of me, but that's okay. I'll put it up high enough so that nothing interferes. And I've got a third screen floating over here that's actually my phone interface, my interface to my phone application that is running on my desktop. So I can see and respond to messages up here on my phone. Then we'll lock that back into place. And I'm going to put down my controllers. And here I am. I'm working. I'm good to go. And again, I'm in this beautiful area. Also with Desktop Plus, I have it set that if I turn my head a certain set of degrees, those screens disappear, right? So if somebody were to walk up and I was to have a chat, my screens go away. I turn back to face them. They pop back in. Same thing for Reality Mixer. I look down, I can see my keyboard and mouse. If I look up, that gets obscured and it's not kind of, floating in my way all the time. Okay, so that's it. Really quick explanation of the software and process that I use to work here in VRChat in Glass Office and those applications that are in play. I hope this is helpful and useful to some of you, and I hope I see you in Glass Office. Bye now. Hey, Facebook, stop recording.